Hello. Welcome back.
There's no excuse for this, period. If America insists on billing itself as the vanguard of modern civilization and affluence, having well-built sidewalks available to all residents shouldn't even be a debate. But because we let inefficient bureaucrats and underinvestment define our infrastructure priorities for decades, it's somehow treated as an afterthought. Yet another way our nation's hubris around our advanced condition gets undercut by reality.
That is a paragraph from the story, The Sad State of American Sidewalks, which will be played after this intro. I have neuropathy. I have a hard time walking. I have a hard time doing a lot of things due to neuropathy. One of the things I took for granted back when I was healthy was walking on America's shitty sidewalks, if there's a sidewalk period. That inspired me to create a t-shirt entitled, How in the Hell in the Most Advanced Country in the World? Are there so many inadequate sidewalks? That is available to purchase on my apparel site, justtextclothing.com, that you see on your screen. Don't take being healthy for granted. Because once you begin having health issues, it becomes very clear how pro-able-bodied and anti-handicapped America really is. Alright, I'm done with the intro. Now without further ado.
The sad state of American sidewalks. How in the hell in the most advanced country in the world are there so many inadequate sidewalks?
My friend Alicia vented this with understandable frustration one afternoon as we attempted an urban walk around her neighborhood. For someone who uses a wheelchair, the crumbling sparse sidewalk infrastructure was proving to be an endless obstacle course. What should have been a simple stroll continually degenerated into Alicia having to veer into the street to navigate around impassable broken concrete chunks, overgrown brush overflowing onto the pedestrian paths, or curb-cut ramps that were essentially useless due to poor design and maintenance. At every turn there seemed to be some new barrier, detour, or potential hazard awaiting us thanks to the poorly kept sidewalks.
This is completely unacceptable for a country that endlessly touts its global leadership and economic might.
Alicia seethed as we were forced to backtrack yet again thanks to a sidewalk that just ended abruptly.
How many times do we have to keep saying, yeah, America is great, except for the crumbling infrastructure? When are we going to decide that barrier-free mobility for all people is a priority deserving of our advanced status and funding?
As someone able-bodied, I'll admit I had taken the prevalence of poorly kept and inconsistent sidewalks for granted. It was just another piece of the urban fabric's slow decay over decades of underinvestment in core civic resources. But seeing firsthand how it transformed the supposedly simple act of getting around a neighborhood into a grueling fought of willpower was eye-opening. Alicia railed about how despite America's unending symphony of self-praise around being a
world leader
and
shining city upon a hill,
we fell appallingly short in such a basic quality-of-life hallmark of an advanced society: safe, well-constructed sidewalks that allowed unencumbered mobility for all people.
It's astonishing that in the richest nation on earth, one that endlessly congratulates itself as being so innovative and forging the path into the future, I can't even navigate the streets in my own community reliably and hassle-free. Just try to imagine a major city like Paris, Tokyo, or Stockholm having sidewalks in such disgraceful conditions.
She went on to lament how civic investments that should be non-negotiable for a first-world nation keep getting deprioritized and ignored in America outside a few select gentrified enclaves. Durable urban sidewalks that comply with accessibility standards shouldn't be an impossible ask for the wealthiest economic powerhouse in world history, but here we were treating it as a luxury expenditure.
There's no excuse for this, period. If America insists on billing itself as the vanguard of modern civilization and affluence, having well-built sidewalks available to all residents shouldn't even be a debate. But because we let inefficient bureaucrats and underinvestment define our infrastructure priorities for decades, it's somehow treated as an afterthought. Yet another way our nation's hubris around our advanced condition gets undercut by reality.
The more Alicia deconstructed the embarrassing national failure around sidewalks, the more I felt ashamed at my own willful ignorance. She was absolutely right. It was remarkably hypocritical for America to endlessly boast of its
shining
stature as a prosperous superpower befitting of the modern era, while simultaneously having some of the shoddiest pedestrian infrastructure among its global peers. As we turned around and headed back from our walk after getting blocked by yet another missing sidewalk segment, Alicia shook her head.
You know why the sidewalks here are treated as an afterthought and constant state of disrepair? Because we live in a society so hyper-focused on prioritizing the desires of the wealth private vehicle owner class over all else. Bike lanes, public transit, walkability, those are treated as nuisances, not necessities in America's urban planning.
She lamented how priorities like sidewalks seem to always be deemed too costly and low on the funding hierarchy compared to building and maintaining more roads, highways, parking lots, and other automobile infrastructure. The uneven class divides in America resulted in municipal investments flowing toward what benefited whiter, wealthier residents most, a dynamic playing out in cities across the nation.
Just think about who gets to prioritize things like sidewalk quality and accessibility in America. Predominantly able-bodied, affluent suburban dwellers who likely don't rely on that infrastructure in their daily lives. So of course it slowly crumbles and falls by the wayside compared to projects that ease their motoring supremacy.
By the time we made it back home, I was disheartened but with eyes open to a harsh reality. America consistently brags about its world superiority and vaulted status as innovators, but that self-celebration doesn't extend to providing basic quality-of-life public works like well-maintained, accessible sidewalks for all its citizens. The
shining city.
Rhetoric was nothing but a hollow hustle in the face of such a perpetually neglected pedestrian landscape. Maybe we wouldn't be so
advanced
if we refocused civic energies and funds away from vanity projects celebrating our alleged supremacy, and instead doubled down on unglamorous but essential efforts to knit together communities with simple priorities like decent sidewalks. The way things currently stood only reinforced that America's
world leadership
bona fides remained severely undercut by realities on the ground. As Alicia said,
"There's nothing advanced about failing your people on such a fundamental need."
I'm gonna keep this short, because the sad state of American sidewalks encapsulates most of my feelings about America's refusal to improve its infrastructure, in particular sidewalks, so like, share, subscribe, all that jib-jab. Okay. See you in the future.